flour, breadcrumbs, water, sugar, egg, salt, yeast, melted butter, and milk. Measurements are on the description box below. First is we're gonna activate the yeast. Add the warm water, yeast, and a tablespoon of sugar. You'll know that the yeast is alive when you see some bubbling and it starts to create a layer of foam like this. That's why we will wait for 5 to 10 minutes until it's foamy, and that's how you'll know that the yeast is ready. Now you can add 1 cup of flour and half a teaspoon salt. This is how you make a starter dough. It will help start the fermentation process of the dough we are making for pandesal. After mixing it well, we will cover it with a clean cloth and set it aside for 30 minutes to an hour. Now that our starter dough has doubled in size, it means we can now start making the pandesal dough. In a clean bowl, add the warm milk, melted butter, and egg. Make sure that there is no eggshells included when you add the egg. You can use a fork or a whisk when mixing. After mixing it well, you can now add the starter dough we made earlier. Now we can add 3 cups of flour and half a cup of sugar. I suggest dividing your flour into 2 portions. This will help you mix easily and evenly. After some time, you will feel that mixing gets harder. That means you are ready to knead. Prepare a clean surface, remove all accessories, and wash your hands thoroughly. What I am making is for personal consumption, and I don't use my left hand so much, so I didn't remove my ring. But if you're planning to give this away as a gift or sell it, make sure that you don't have any accessories on. Grab your extra flour to dust the surface and pour your dough. I am not a professional, so I use my basic instinct when kneading. I fold the dough and push it away using the palm of my hand. Keep dusting with flour when you feel like your dough is still sticky. Now you can see that the dough is starting to come together. Keep kneading for about 5 to 10 minutes until the dough feels smooth in texture. You can use the poke test if you want to check if your dough is ready. You poke the dough, and if the indentation comes back quickly, it means it's good to go. Grab a bowl and grease it with flavorless oil. We will roll the dough on this greased bowl to prevent formation of crust. Cover with a clean cloth and wait for it to rise for 1 to 2 hours. Now is the time to prepare your breadcrumbs, extra flour if you need some dusting, and a baking tray lined with baking paper. Now that our dough has doubled in size, punch it down and using a scraper, Scrape it out onto your surface. Divide it into 2 parts and start laying it out in a rectangular shape. Roll it down into a log and pinch the edges to hold its form. Roll the dough to even out its thickness. We will cut the dough diagonally. This will help us achieve the pandesal shape that we buy in the Philippines. Now we can roll the dough on the breadcrumbs. I like having my breadcrumbs on the bowl. This helps me keep my working surface less messy. After rolling on breadcrumbs, place them on your baking tray according to how you like your pandesal. If you like your pandesal toasted on all sides, place them far apart from each other. But if you want them with soft sides, place them closer together. Cover with a clean cloth and wait for it to rise. In here, I'm just doing the same procedure on the other half of the dough. You can always adjust the size of your pandesal. I'm making mine bigger, but you can always make yours the same as the ones in the Philippines. Now that they have doubled in size, they're ready to be placed inside the oven. Now our pandesal is ready. This is for all my kababayans out there who misses Filipino food. Also for foreigners who wants to try Filipino bread. Make sure that your pandesal is cooled down completely before you store them. You can also put them in Ziploc bags and store them in the freezer. If you find this video helpful,